Hello and welcome back to the Cartoonist Studio. Well, it's a very messy Cartoonist Studio, to be honest with you. And the reason for that is I've had the builders in, or rather the plumbers, the heating engineers to be more precise. We've just had an entire central heating system put in. That's every single room all around the house. It's been a logistical nightmare. There's been dust everywhere, dirt everywhere, plumbers everywhere. The studio, as you can see, is a tip. It's just a pile of detritus as I slowly but surely go through trying to make some sense out of this, because we've quite literally been moving one room into another so they can work on that, and then that room into another room, and then another room to another room, and so on and so forth, until eventually when they left and the dust was starting to settle, we suddenly realised we didn't know where the hell anything was. I spent 2 hours yesterday looking for the rough illustrations for this video. But it was either work in this mess and not put out a video, or not put out a video and clean it all up and miss it. I didn't want to miss it, having at least done every fortnight. I wanted to continue to do that. So as you can see, you can probably see behind me, there's a bit of painted stuff there, and there's the ceiling and the walls, and there's stuff that you can't see in front of you, but that's all been plastered. Pretty much like I'm going to get tonight, absolutely plastered tonight. So this is all going to be painted and reorganised, and I'm sure it'll look very pretty when it's finished. But at the moment, it's a mess. So if you'll please excuse that, and we'll get on with it. I'll give you when it's all finished, I'll give you another studio tour as an extra video. So there'll be that. So at the moment, it's just me, a table. I've managed to squeeze a little bit of space into here. I've got a table in here, my drawing board's on it, sheet of A4 ready to produce the cartoon this week. I have ink, I have a ruler, pencil, pen, and somewhere around here there's some ink. And that's pretty much all we need. So we'll get back on. We're back onto the big old bear. I didn't do a video last week. I'm sorry about that, but logistically it was impossible. It was a nightmare. So we'll get on with the video this week, and then hopefully next week they'll be on to something else. So without further ado, shall we go and draw a cartoon? I think we should. Right, we're back. All the whinging is over with. And look, I got a new pencil. I've only got one of those because I think I broke the last one. I was doing a teaching course over at Christ College, which is over there somewhere. They got like a summer class. I've probably mentioned it. If I have, and I've mentioned it again, I'm terribly sorry, but it's what I do. I think it's an age thing. But yeah, so I had to do a course over there where I was teaching a bunch of students from around the world cartoon skills. They'd come over here and they were doing all kinds of things like whitewater rafting and caving, and what was the one thing they did I thought was quite work out what it was. It was that's right, cliff walking, I think they call it. And it turns out basically it's going for a walk. That's it. They went for, why they couldn't say that, I don't know. Got to give it some fancy schmaltzy name. But basically they went for a wander around the cliffs and try not to fall off it. I think that was the general idea of it all. So I had to do that, which was all well and good, except they gave me my first lesson. I think it was about 25 students, 25 kids. And I'd say 18 of them were Japanese. All right, absolutely fine. Trouble was, I didn't speak a word of English. Not a word. And there was one translator, and I didn't get her. So I had to try and teach these kids to draw cartoons. dust everywhere here. Try and get these kids to draw cartoons, and they didn't understand a word of it. Not a word of it. So that was fun. I did 4 of those days. 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, deep sodding joy, I'll tell you. Yeah. And the fact that the first phase of the builders were in that week as well. And they were doing the studio. They weren't, there's a radiator in here, but they weren't doing any of that sort of stuff. They were insulating it, putting these big boards up everywhere. So they made a hell of a mess, but I guess they had to. And yes, so that was fun. That was fun to come back to every night. But the plumbers, they were the ones that really did the mess. I mean, I did have a central heating system here before. It's not like, I've been living here with no heating at all for all these years. So I did have it, just that it was in need of replacement. So in they came. And there was lots of them. And there was lots of smashing and crashing and hacking and banging and shouting and swearing, a lot of swearing going around. And not too keen on that little bit there. Yeah, a lot of crashing and banging around and various shouts. And then they'd all disappear. And then the one night, about 3 o'clock in the morning, there was a strange knocking sound. And I thought, strange, they haven't put the pipes in yet. More knocking, and eventually located it to a floorboard and went under the floorboard, and there were 2 plumbers there. So they were so busy, they were burying themselves. So every night, or every morning and every night, they'd come in the morning and we'd count them in and count them out. Yes, make of that what you will. Believe it if you like. You fools. Right, Big Old Bear. Yes, that's him. That's him there. For those of you who haven't been here before, this is Big Old Bear. And this is going to be his second book, which I'm hoping to get done by Christmas, although it's going to be a tough one. But I will do my best. Big Old Bear has already got a book out, which will be here or here or here or here or somewhere over there. It'll be around the screen somewhere. And the first one was about how he spent the perfect summer. And then this one is not how he spent the perfect Christmas, because, well, it isn't. Well, I should have done this last. This is interesting. Right. I think I'm going... Oh, this is going to be... I'll make a note for this one. When colouring, fade to bleed. Now, some of you will know what that means, some of you won't. What I'm doing is, rather than having this is going to be a blanket wrapped over them, they're watching TV. Rather than have the blanket go all the way down here, I'm going to bring it down to about here and stop, and then I'm going to fade this out. I like that. I'll probably change my mind again, because I think I should have been a woman. I really do. I'm not being topical here. There. Yeah, so anyway, this is the Christmas one. It's called Big Old Bear's 12 Days Until Christmas. And each double page, they're all double page spreads. Each double page spread will have one of the things that Big Old Bear does to prepare or get ready for Christmas. Whether it be an exciting thing like this. This is watching all the Christmas movies and what have you. And then on the final day, it's the big day itself, and they're all together. So that's the plan of it. So this is why we got the 2 separate panels here with a line down the centre. That's the centre of the page. So as I know not to do anything important on here, so I'll have characters on either side. Maybe this doesn't really matter too much, but maybe we'll have a big bowl of popcorn there. So it's straddling the page. So it's not quite so bad. This is not on the original rough. That's what I'm working off. That's my thumbnail. Doesn't make much sense, does it? I can't even read it. 3 days to go. I said, 3 days to go. By the fire, he warms his toes while sitting with his friends watching Christmas TV shows. Isn't that nice? I made it all rhyme as well. I was so clever. So that's what this double page spread's going to be. So it'll be 2 lines of the verse there, 2 lines of the verse up here. And that's how that's going to work. And I don't like my new pencil. I couldn't find the one I had before it was all silver up. You'll see it in other videos. It's all silver up here, and a nice rubbery, chunky rubbery area around here. And it was just so nice. I know this is slightly rubbery, but this is very thin and it's very tinny. That's a word we use over here to describe something that's just not quite right. It's not that nice. All right. A few little bits of popcorn. And yeah, got a bunch of characters to fit in because we know we got quite a few characters here, haven't we? Right, we'll have the goose next. And the goose, I think I've mentioned before, is possibly one of my favourite characters to draw. I haven't drawn him for a while, so I'm losing track here. That's going to be too big. That's going to be too big. This is supposed to be a HB. It's not, you know. This is more like a B. Don't like that. Not happy with that. Take it out and start again. Right. Yeah, it'd be about here, I think. Because you've got to realise, big old bear is a bear. He's not small. I think that's probably better. That's better. Now, the goose, for those of you who watched last week's video, last fortnight's video in this collection of videos, because this is on a playlist. There's only 2 in there at the moment, or is there 3? 2, I think. I think this is the 3rd one. Yeah, the last one I did, we went through the characters and their personalities. There'll be a link down below, or if I'm very clever, one of those things that go across the top and says, click here if you don't know any better, and we'll see something else. But if not, and what is more probable, because I'm not exactly Mr. Technical when it comes to computers, it'll be in the description below, which is where you can leave your comments and all sorts of stuff like that. You can even hit the light. There's no light here. You can even hit the like and subscribe button if you wish. So we have him eating something. Yeah, let's have him eating something. So we'll round that off a little bit. Incidentally, I've been doing quite a few more tiki-toki videos. And oh God, I don't like this. And in there, they're just 1-minute videos, slightly speeded up. Right, hold on. I'm going to go quiet. Maintain radio silence, as they say. That might look better when it's inked. I know what I'm doing, sort of. I think that will look better when it's inked. Yeah. Okay. Yes, so I'm doing a few of those, and you might want to go along and have a look at that. I do a little bit of talking, but not much. It's mainly the drawing itself. And then there's the rabbit. Can't forget the rabbit. Hey, we're zooming on here today, aren't we? We're really going for it today. I don't like this pencil. I'm going to complain to Mr. W, Mr. H, and Mr. Smiths. And I'm going to say, I'm not having this. I asked for a HB, and I got a 75B or something stupid like that. Not working for me. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I will complain to the highest authority. So should we have a box of tissues here? Because it could be a weepy Christmas movie. What's your favourite Christmas movie? Is it one of the old classics? Is it one of the more modern? That's worrying me, actually, because now Home Alone is classified as a classic. God almighty, I can remember them coming out. Is it which is the one where every time an angel loses its wings, a tree falls over or something? I don't know. It's a classic American one. I think you all watch it every year in America. They watch this movie. It's a black and white one. There we go. And I think that will be the probably the main characters. I may actually come ahead here and complete this up, I don't know. Let's put the TV in, shall we? Do you think Big Old Bear has a flat screen TV? Do you think they got flat screen TVs in the woodland he lives in? Me and the Kalashnikov kid. We went out for a little walk last Sunday, I think it was, just to get out the house, I think. And we went to these incredible waterfalls. There should be a little inset video here somewhere. Absolutely stunning. And had a very pleasant day away from all the madness, although it was an incredibly thin road to get down. You could barely get two cars up there. Everything had to stop. We did get up there, we managed it. And then when we were coming back down again, there was some idiot in a transit van wanted to come up with it the other way. I thought, that's going to get messy. Yeah, a very nice day. Very nice day. We don't very often get days out. Not very often we do that. Both of us so busy. Me producing videos for you lot, and her producing all of her incredible food. She's an extremely talented chef. I mean, a ridiculously talented chef. Right, I think, shall we, maybe a bit of a comforting few feathers there. Who knows? I'll work on that. Now, we haven't finished now because there's the mischievous mice, Craig and Josh. I think I decided they were going to be called. The only ones who actually have names. And the only reason they have names is because they are based on my son-in-law, Craig, and his brother, Josh, who were absolute nightmares when they were kids. Always doing stuff. They had this one thing they did. They were quite young, but they lived on a farm. So, like most farm boys, they're driving cars and what have you at the age, as soon as they can reach the pedals, I think. And these two have been watching movies where cars drive at people at a certain speed, and they thought, if you jump at the right time, you should be able to hit the bonnet, jump up, hit the roof, jump up, and land on the ground whilst the car goes forward. And so they decided to do this. And Josh was driving the car, and Craig, my son-in-law, was the one who was going to attempt the leap. So off they went. Craig got in the car. They decided 30 miles an hour would be the speed with which to do it. The mother didn't know. The mother never knew until either the sound of sirens or shouts and screams came from wherever they were. And so anyway, he drove at him. Drove straight at him. 30 miles an hour. So Craig leapt at the time he thought was just about right, which was probably about a second too early. And his feet just touched the edge of the bonnet. He slipped. He then went into some kind of a cartwheel up in the air and landed flat on his back as the car carried on. Could have gone a lot worse, but that's what he did. So he's lying there with a broken finger, I think, or thumb or whatever it was. Something was smashed up anyway. Not enough to stop him moving around, but enough to, stop him from doing what he was doing there and then. So his brother came rushing over. You okay? He said, yeah. He said, right, my turn. And having seen what he'd done, the other idiot, Craig, got behind the wheel and drove at his brother. I don't know what the outcome of that one was, but I don't think it was pretty. So what should we do with these? I think we'll have them up here. For once, subdued. Yeah. So what else have I been doing? I suppose that's pretty much... I've been doing lots of things. I've been a very busy few weeks, to be honest with you. And I have to get this YouTube video done today because it's bank holiday over here in the UK on this weekend. And I'm going to be doing my book stall out there selling my books. And I'm also, I think I mentioned before, I bought part ownership in a printer. This is the, I can't think what it's called. It's got an actual name, but basically it's the printing technique you use to make mugs and t-shirts and sweatshirts and all kinds of things. Basically put the images on there. So I've got to, sublimation, that's it. Sublimation ink is what's used on there. So I'm going to start putting some of those out as well. And whilst we were on our walk, the Kalashnikov kid she came out with quite a that's too big, quite a good idea. We've got a lot of laminate flooring floating around. Initially it was used as storage, but yeah, a lot of this stuff floating around. So she said, why don't you put them all together, put a bunch of them together, say 6 or 7, cut an aperture in it, and you can make yourself some frames. I thought, what a great idea. So I'm going to do that as well for my, that will also be for my stall. So bit by bit, that's going to be increasing. But I am selling books, which is the whole idea of it. If you're interested, I've published quite a few books. If you're interested in that kind of thing, then please go along to my Amazon page. There'll be links for it down below as usual. So go to that. And if you like what you see, then please support me. It's great. It's just one way that helps me continue to produce the drivel that I produce. Now, having these things on the back of the sofa is a very old-fashioned thing, but I like old-fashioned. A lot of my stuff I've noticed is all rooted or based around history, or hearkening back to a more pleasant time, or what we think to be a more pleasant time. So this is more like my grandmother's era, I suppose. 1950s, 40s. And people used to have these things on the back of their sofas. Probably because they wore a lot of brilliantine in their hair. And when they rested their head back, it didn't stain the sofa, but it could be taken away and washed. Let's not forget the bird. And as always, somewhere you've got to find the worm. Right, that's them all. This is it. I've done it. I've completed yet another picture. I'm not going to do any scenery because this is gonna have like an arc around here, and it's gonna be quite dark on the top and slightly light around here, and maybe I'll draw some stuff in the background, but on the computer. So now I guess all that's left for me to do is say once again, thank you for your time. I'm going to be doing the inking now, but I'll do that speeded up with some music. And hopefully come back for the next video in this range, in this on this theme, which will be in 2 weeks' time, and should be about the creation of a cover. The one after that will be about the colouring process, and the one beyond that will be actually uploading it to Amazon, or how I upload it to Amazon, and we'll be going through the logistics and dimensions of how I do that. I come from a print background, so I've had to do it my way because Amazon's is quite frankly rubbish. But I'll talk you through how I do that. Hopefully next week I'm looking to do some designs for the mugs on the sublimation print that I'll be doing. So I'll show you one of those designs. Hopefully that'll come out next week. Without any major catastrophes, I should be able to do that, but we will see. But definitely back for Big Old Bear in 2 weeks' time. Until then, enjoy the rest of the video and the little bit of music that I have carefully selected for you. And yeah, thank you once again very much for your time and company. It is appreciated. If you like this kind of content, please like it, share it, and all that kind of stuff. Sharing is very good. It does get people more aware of what I do. Hold on a second. I may put a window. No, I'm going to leave it as it is. No, leave it as it is. Yes, and also, if you're not already subscribed, get over there now and do it quick before I send the boys round. And they'll just show you how to do it. And also there's a drop down menu with all these various bells. Click the one that says all, and you'll get every bit of rubbish I produce then. You lucky devils, you. And but from that point onwards, I will see you in 2 weeks. Okay, bye for now.